When we classify EIGRP, we say it's distance vector or advanced distance vector, but the reality is what we'll see clearly from this is that there's way more to it. Firstly, we don't change things a lot. Yeah, our topology table will change when a metric changes or there's a change to the state, whether it's up or down. When we are doing our initial convergence, we'll send updates, or when we have something to share that's triggered, that'll be an update. When we lose a route, we will query our neighbors. That's important. We'll send a query to all of our neighbors, and we'll get replies back. During this state, between reception of a reply, we are what we would say is active. The active state says, I've sent a query, I am awaiting a reply. If we lose a neighbor, our topology table will change. Now get this. The beauty of EIGRP is in the routing computation that we have. We have the successor, the best route. We have the feasible successor, a qualified, vetted, best, second best route. Again, the second best route. Good enough to use, but not good enough to be in there right now because there's something better. So let's say we lose our successor. The successor goes down. What would we do? Well, let's play that game right now. Let's play that game right now. Let's say we have this topology, and that top pathway goes down. Now, that top pathway was the best way to go. The top pathway was the best way to go. Why? Because it had the lowest metric. The lowest metric was, you can still see it well enough, 2,000 versus 2,500 in the bottom pathway. 2,500 in the bottom pathway is worse. Now, in this case, I just dropped connectivity on the top pathway. Did we have a feasible successor? Let's figure that out on our own, shall we? In order for this to work, we have to have the reported distance be less than the 2,000, which is the feasible distance. And let's make sure we get this right. 1,000, 500, 500, excuse me, I'm comparing the reported distance, so it should be 500 plus 500 plus 500. That's a reported distance for the bottom pathway of 1,500. So in this case, the reported distance of 1,500 is less than the feasible distance. So that means we have passed the feasibility condition. We've passed the feasibility condition. We had a feasible successor. So what happens is the new pathway, the bottom pathway in this case, becomes the new successor without anything like querying. This router, R3, would not query its neighbors because we can immediately start using the feasible successor. It's really exciting stuff. Now let's say things didn't work out perfectly. Let's say that one of these links was just not good enough and we didn't have that condition perfectly met. So we'll change the metric, something like 1,500 right there. And then the reported distance, that would become 25 or 250 or 2,500, okay? The reported distance now would not work out. It would not be less than 2,000, and therefore we would have to query our neighbors and await replies back. During that time, we are in the active status. Understanding this means you understand EIGRP under the hood.